It was only when Elon Musk appeared on stage with a restrained smile that the audience finally understood. It was no longer a promise. It was real. The $15,990 Tesla Model 2 was ready to hit the streets. A price like that already seems like a joke in itself. But what caught everyone's attention were the calculated sacrifices designed to make this possible. No sunroof, leather seats, or fancy wheels. And you know what else? People applauded. The world wanted an affordable Tesla, and now it was there, without frills, but with the essence of the brand etched into its DNA. A quick glance inside gives the game away. Simple fabric seats, no heating or electric adjustments. The windows? Ordinary glass, no double acoustic layer. The sound? 7 speakers, less than half of what you'd find in a more expensive Model 3. But who cares about that when the car costs less than many popular combustion engine models? Every cut was surgically planned to avoid compromising the car's soul. It's as if they performed a luxury reduction surgery, but kept the technological heart beating strong. And you can't ignore the masterstroke in manufacturing. The Model 2 was designed to be assembled in record time. And that's only possible thanks to the much-talked-about Giga Press weighing 54,000 tons. This monstrous machine molds entire chassis parts in seconds, without the need to weld dozens of separate pieces together. This change alone represents a brutal saving in production costs. In fact, this number alone makes one wonder, what kind of car could be born from a press with the strength of a titan? Another clever move was the use of smaller wheels. Less material, lower manufacturing cost, cheaper tires, and, as a bonus, a reduction in the car's overall weight, which also helps with energy efficiency. The wheels may seem too simple for those accustomed to the ostentation of the S and X models, but for those who just want a reliable, functional, and beautiful electric car, they fulfill their role perfectly. And the target audience for this car doesn't want luxury. They want mobility. The absence of a panoramic sunroof was also no accident. Besides being expensive to produce and install, the special glass used in the roofs of premium Teslas raises the car's center of gravity and complicates transport logistics. By replacing it with a conventional metal roof, Tesla not only cut costs, but also simplified the production line. It may seem like a step backward, but in this case, it's an ingenious decision. Less glass, more production. One curious detail that few noticed was the replacement of rare earth magnets in the motor with ferrite versions. This not only reduces the cost of the motor by about $1,000 per unit, but also reduces Tesla's dependence on the Chinese supply chain, something increasingly strategic in times of geopolitical tensions. And even with this change, the promised performance remains as expected, a cost saving that doesn't compromise the experience. The real magic behind the Model 2 isn't just in the car itself, but in how it's made. Tesla completely abandoned traditional manufacturing logic and dove headfirst into the concept of unboxed manufacturing. Whereas before cars were assembled piece by piece in various stations, now everything happens almost like an industrial Lego set. Entire modules, such as battery, chassis, and cabin, arrive ready to be plugged in and fixed in a matter of minutes. The factory has become an automated organism, and the car, an extension of this mechanical intelligence. Within this new ecosystem, robots do almost everything. That's no exaggeration. From aluminum gigacastings to the precise positioning of panels and wiring, each step has been redesigned to eliminate human error and accelerate the process. The goal is ambitious: to reduce the assembly time of a car from a few days to a few hours, or even minutes in ideal scenarios. And we're not talking about theory. In production line tests, Tesla assembled Model 2 prototypes in record time, without compromising precision. The modular structure also aids in global transportation. Instead of shipping entire cars from one factory to another part of the world, Tesla can dispatch compact assembly kits to regional centers. This cuts logistical costs and reduces the carbon footprint. It's as if Tesla cars were traveling disassembled like toys, ready to be assembled anywhere, quickly and consistently. This flexible logistics has the potential to become a new standard in the automotive industry. The 54,000-ton Giga Press is the nerve center of all this. It's what makes the use of megacastings, single pieces that replace dozens of smaller parts, welded or bolted together. The front and rear of the Model 2 alone now come from a single cast piece. This not only reduces weight and increases structural strength, but also cuts hundreds of components from the process. It's almost like going from a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle to a sculpture molded all at once. This approach also allowed Tesla to reduce the factory footprint by up to 40%. Less space, fewer steps, fewer people. Automation and intelligent design do the heavy lifting. And this new factory layout isn't just faster, it's also scalable. Tesla estimates it can manufacture between 300,000 and 500,000 Model 2 units per year using this new architecture alone, with better margins than previous models. And the numbers have already started to materialize. In 2025, approximately 10,000 to 20,000 units will be produced in limited batches for fine-tuning the production line. These first cars will serve as a basis for ensuring quality, adjusting cycle times, and calibrating systems. And starting in the first quarter of 2026, mass production will begin in earnest. Tesla wants to see these cars rolling off the assembly line like hotcakes. The choice of battery for the Model 2 may seem simple at first glance, but it's one of the most ingenious pieces of the puzzle. No expensive nickel or cobalt cells. The car will use a 53 kilowatt LFP battery, supplied by the Chinese giant KTL. LFP chemistry is known for its durability and safety, but mainly for its low cost. Instead of chasing exaggerated range figures, Tesla focused on the balance between price, performance, and efficiency. And the truth is, this decision makes much more sense than it seems. Interestingly, even though it's cheaper, this LFP battery delivers surprising results. The Model 2's estimated range is between 280 and 310 miles, depending on the version. More than enough for most drivers. And this is only possible because the car is lightweight, aerodynamic, and optimized down to the smallest detail. The secret lies not only in the battery itself, but in the overall design. Everything was conceived to consume less energy per kilometer driven. The base version of the Model 2 will come with this 53 kWh battery pack, while the long-range version, still within the $20,000 range, pushes the range even further, reaching an impressive 500 kilometers. And the most incredible part? The estimated cost of the pack is only $2,786. This represents a drastic reduction compared to the 75 kWh packs used in the Model Y, which are heavier, more expensive, and more difficult to scale in volume. Here, cheap has truly become smart. But the big breakthrough is yet to come. Tesla plans to manufacture these LFP batteries in-house, starting in 2026, at its recently completed factory in Nevada. This not only cuts import costs but also eliminates logistical bottlenecks with suppliers. In fact, the company has already purchased the machinery from KTL and is preparing to install the production lines. When this system is operational, the expectation is that the cost of the pack will drop by another $1,500 to $2,000 per unit. This move is strategic for another reason. It reduces dependence on China at a time when trade tensions are becoming increasingly unpredictable. Producing batteries in the United States allows Tesla to take advantage of local incentives and circumvent tariffs. Furthermore, with decentralized production, the company can supply different regions more quickly. It's almost like manufacturing energy on demand. Of course, there are limitations. LFP batteries have lower energy density compared to NMC or 4680 batteries, meaning they take up more space. But the Model 2's compact design and structure compensate for this flaw. And, between us, who really needs 600 miles of daily range? Most users want a reliable car with easy recharging and predictable costs. And in that, the Model 2 hits the mark. Visually, the Model 2 is like that minimalist friend who arrives quietly but still draws attention. Inspired by the Model Y, it adopts more compact proportions, smooth lines, and an aesthetic that screams practicality. No chrome trim, aggressive headlights, or superfluously expensive details. The rear no longer has that luminous strip that became a hallmark of premium Teslas, and the panoramic sunroof has given way to a good old metallic panel. The idea is not to impress with luxury, but to show that less can indeed be more, as long as it's well done. One of the boldest decisions was to eliminate features considered standard in many entry-level electric cars. Simple fabric seats replace synthetic leather. The sound system, now more streamlined, doesn't aim to fill the car with cinematic bass. The windows are now single-layered. Everything seems to indicate an intentional attempt to cut costs, but always with a technical eye. Is this really necessary? And, in many cases, the answer was no. The essentials remained. And for many people, that's enough. Even with these cuts, the car hasn't lost what makes it a Tesla. The 12-inch central screen is still there, with a fluid interface and Tesla's operating system running like an iPhone on wheels. Basic Autopilot is also present, along with full connectivity to the brand's app. OTA updates remain an important differentiator. The car you buy today can be better in 6 months, without needing to change models. The exterior design has undergone subtle adjustments, but these make a big difference to your wallet. The wheels are smaller and lighter, which helps with energy efficiency and reduces replacement costs, as well as saving on production. The hood has been simplified with a stamped steel piece, and the side mirrors have lost sensors and heating. All of this may seem trivial, but when multiplied by hundreds of thousands of units, it represents millions in savings. Inside, the Model 2 has a more functional feel. The dashboard is clean, without rear displays or unnecessary buttons. The rear seats don't have independent ventilation, and the trunk is manual, without an electric opening. The interior lighting system has also been reduced, focusing only on the basic areas. There's no RGB ambient lighting or aesthetic frills. But, again, everything is where it needs to be, without exaggeration. These design choices also have an interesting psychological effect. Instead of trying to compete with luxury brands in the territory of ostentation, the Model 2 reinforces Tesla's identity as an accessible technology company. The message is clear. You can have a smart, beautiful, and efficient electric car without having to sell a kidney. And that completely changes the game for millions of consumers who have always seen Teslas as distant dreams. If there's one thing Tesla knows how to do, it's play chess while others are still learning the rules. The choice of where and how to launch the Model 2 shows exactly that. Instead of starting in the United States, as one might expect, the company decided to bet on Giga Shanghai and Giga Texas as the first production hubs, with a keen eye on Thailand and India soon after. It seems counterintuitive at first glance, but strategically it makes perfect sense. These are large, expanding markets with a huge appetite for affordable cars. In China, the competition is fierce. BYD, for example, already offers electric cars under $10,000, such as the famous Seagull. And although they are cheaper, these models sacrifice a lot in quality, safety, and range. Tesla doesn't want to enter this pure price war. It wants to deliver something better, without leaving the $20,000 range. The idea is simple: to win over those looking for a reliable, connected car that doesn't look like a motorized toy. And this requires a delicate balance between cost and perceived value. In Europe, the early launch is justified for another reason: emissions. European countries are tightening their grip on combustion engines, and the demand for affordable EVs is growing. By launching the Model 2 in the European market before its Chinese rivals gain more ground, Tesla reinforces its position as a leader in innovation and as one of the few Western manufacturers with the scale to compete in the volume game. In this scenario, having a $15,990 car with Tesla quality could be a decisive move. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Thailand is emerging as a new industrial hub. The local government has been courting Elon Musk with aggressive incentives to attract a gigafactory. It's not just about cheap labor, but about logistics. Thailand's location allows quick access to all of Asia and the Pacific, with infrastructure that is rapidly improving. And if Tesla wants to escape dependence on China without losing production momentum, Thailand could be the perfect escape valve. India, meanwhile, has returned to Tesla's radar with full force. After some failed attempts in the past, talks about local manufacturing partnerships have resumed with enthusiasm. And it's not hard to understand why. India has a gigantic domestic market, but still lacks good quality entry-level EVs. If the Model 2 manages to enter there with tailored pricing, it could become the country's best-selling car and pave the way for the entire Tesla lineup to enter in full force. Geographic diversification also protects the company against political risks. With tensions between the US and China escalating, relying exclusively on Giga Shanghai would be too high a risk. Having factories on different continents ensures flexibility and the ability to respond quickly to regulatory changes. It's a balancing act that few automakers in the world can pull off, and Tesla is dancing to the right rhythm. The bold move of selling a Tesla for just $15,990 in the United States, without the backing of the former $7,500 tax credit, raised more than a few eyebrows in the market. This subsidy, which was once crucial to the popularization of EVs there, was withdrawn at a particularly delicate moment, just when Tesla was trying to turn an affordable dream into reality. Without this incentive, the math becomes tighter. To keep the car competitive, the company had to double down on internal cost reductions, reusing what it learned from the Model Y and the Cybertruck. The removal of the subsidy means, in practice, the Tesla had to self-subsidize the Model 2, something like selling below the traditional cost, betting on scale to compensate. And anyone who thinks this challenge is small is mistaken. Analysts estimate that, without the tax credit, it would be necessary to cut at least $10,000 in the production process to keep the car within the promised price range. The answer? Giga Press, simplified production, lean battery, and cutting non-essential items. Every penny counts, and every screw was inspected with a magnifying glass. Even with all this effort, many experts still believe it's unlikely that the final retail price will fall below $25,000 in the US. The numbers simply don't add up in all states. Regional regulatory requirements, homologation costs, and logistical variations cause the price to fluctuate considerably. But even if the price rises to $27,000 or $30,000 in some regions, it will still be significantly cheaper than the Model 3. And far more competitive than any other Tesla ever released. There's also the psychological factor. The public has been bombarded for so long with the promise of the $25,000 Tesla that, when the $15,990 version appeared, many thought it was exaggerated marketing,